Come on, Izzy, tonight's a celebration. Julian's back. You finally got what you wanted. You owe us a little something, don't you think? Seriously, Isabella. You and Julian were so perfect in college. We all thought you'd be the first to get married. Who knew things would go so sideways? Hey, what's past is past. Julian's here now. You better lock that down, or one of us is going to make a move on a guy that fine. A different voice, sharper and laced with venom, cut through the laughter. So, Isabella, with Julian back in the picture, what's the plan for the guy at home? You're not trying to have your cake and eat it too, are you? Oh, come on. Why don't you pass him off to one of us? Sure, the guy's a bit of a loser, but he can cook. You've had your fill of five-star meals. Maybe it's time we got a taste. Yes, I, for one, would love to experience Ethan's legendary simp services. The man has waited on you hand and foot for 3 years. It's just sad, really. A simp is a simp. You can't earn love by being a doormat. I stood outside the private dining room, a birthday cake in my hands, my arm frozen in the act of pushing the door open. The chorus of giggles and jeers washed over me. That familiar name made my blood run cold. Isabella Vance. My girlfriend. And Julian. That must be Julian Hayes. I'd seen his name pop up on Isabella's phone constantly these past few weeks. I'd seen his resume on her desk just this morning. The position he was applying for? Director of Food Quality. My position. I stood there, paralyzed, a growing dread coiling in my stomach. I was terrified of hearing the answer I already knew was coming. God, I loved her so much. But the universe wasn't feeling merciful. Isabella's voice, cool and commanding, sliced through the noise. All of you, keep your voices down. I don't want Ethan finding out about this. Got it? Just give me a little time. Once Julian smoothly takes over his role, I'll toss him to the curb. Then you can fight over who gets to pick up the trash. Don't worry, Izzy, our lips are sealed. Okay. It's Julian's birthday. You have to give him a real welcome back present. A kiss. Yes. Kiss, kiss, kiss. The moment Isabella's words hit me, my world dropped out from under me. It was like being plunged into ice water, a cold so deep it burned. I thought 3 years of tireless devotion, of pouring my entire being into caring for her, would have been enough to melt a heart of stone. I thought she'd agreed to our engagement because she was genuinely moved because she loved me. I thought, toss him out? Pick up the trash? A bitter, humorless laugh escaped my lips. So that's what I was to her. I gently placed the cake by the door and turned away, the sound from the party fading behind me. I didn't care what happened in that room anymore. That night, I packed a single suitcase and walked out of Isabella's penthouse for the last time. 1. The departure staring into the now empty guest room. I was struck by how little of me was ever really here. Even a closet full of expensive suits, not a single one fit me properly. I used to think she was just bad with sizes. Now I knew they were never meant for me. And the collection of designer watches on the dresser, not one was a style I would have chosen. The signs were all there, scattered like breadcrumbs. I had just been willfully blind, telling myself a story I wanted to believe. I cleaned the room meticulously, wiping away every last trace of my existence. Crack! I shattered the glass of a silver picture frame and pulled out the photo inside. It was of the two of us. Isabella was smiling, but it was a corporate, hollow smile that never reached her eyes. Rip! I tore the photo in two. I pocketed my half and placed her half back inside the broken frame, setting it back on a nightstand exactly where it had been. Down by the service incinerator, I started a small fire. One by one, I tossed in the mementos of our life together. My hand paused on a small, yellow Pikachu plush. My eyes stung with a fresh wave of self-loathing before I tossed it, without hesitation, into the flames. It was the first gift Isabella had ever given me, 3 years ago, after I won the Golden Ladle Championship. You're electric when you cook, she had said, pressing it into my hands. Just like this little guy. I'll cook for you for the rest of my life, then. I'd replied, my heart soaring. She'd nodded. Okay. When the last ember died out, I grabbed my suitcase and walked away, not once looking back. I went straight to the office and submitted my resignation. The HR manager looked at me, her eyes wide with shock. Mr. Cole, Ethan, are you sure about this? When I nodded, a look of panic crossed her face as she frantically dialed Isabella. Ms. Vance, Mr. Cole is... Her words were cut off by the tinny sound of music and laughter from the other end of the line, followed by Isabella's impatient voice. I told you, I'm in a very important meeting. Don't bother me unless it's an emergency. Handle it yourself. The line went dead. I wasn't surprised. Anything to do with me was never important enough to warrant her full attention. The manager looked at me, pleading, Mr. Cole, maybe you should wait until Ms. Vance gets back. This company could fire anyone. Hell, it could probably survive without its CEO, Isabella, for a week. But it couldn't survive without its director of food quality. Not without me. I knew what she was trying to say. I held up a hand. Just process it, please. 3 years ago, I had turned down a full scholarship to the Culinary Institute of America to join Isabella's fledgling food startup. In 3 years, I had gone from a line cook to the director of food quality. My culinary creations and meticulous standards had single-handedly dragged her company from the brink of bankruptcy to the top of the industry. I had created thousands of jobs. I had even cured Isabella's chronic stomach issues with carefully prepared meals, day in and day out. And none of it mattered next to the ghost of a college romance. Fine, she could have him. I was taking myself back. With the paperwork finalized, I walked out of the office building and into the sunlight. It felt like my soul was being set free, a lightness I hadn't felt in years. I pulled out my phone and dialed a number I hadn't called in 3 years. It was answered on the first ring. Mom, I said, my voice thick. I'm coming home. There was a moment of stunned silence, then a choked, joyous sob. Okay, honey. I'll start cooking right away. I'll make your favorite barbecue ribs. I hung up, bought a ticket to Denver, and boarded the plane. As we taxied down the runway, I took one last look out the window. Goodbye, New York. Isabella stumbled out of the private room, her face flushed from wine or something else. She immediately tripped over an object by the door. Who leaves trash in the hallway? So tacky. Izzy, you okay? One of her friends asked. Hey, look, it's a birthday cake. It's actually really pretty. Wonder who left it here. Huh, probably an admirer who knew it was Julian's big day. But when Isabella saw the familiar design from the bakery she knew I loved, her heart stuttered. The fog of alcohol vanished from her mind. She snatched the cake box off the floor. Through the clear plastic lid, she saw the elegant script piped in icing. Her face went deathly pale, and she stumbled back a step. Julian Hayes was right behind her, steadying her with a concerned hand. Isabella, what is it? Are you not feeling well? Isabella shoved his hand away. Clutching the cake, she ran to the front desk, her face a mask of panic. Excuse me, she gasped. Do you know who left this cake here? The hostess smiled politely. A gentleman left it, ma'am. He stood by the door to your room for a few minutes, then just placed it on the floor and left. Thud. The cake slipped from her fingers, but she didn't seem to notice. She turned and sprinted out of the restaurant as if the devil were on her heels. Isabella, what's wrong? Slow down. Izzy, where are you going? It's late. Let me give you a ride. They chased her to the parking garage, but it was too late. They only caught the squeal of her tires as her car shot out onto the street. Julian yelled after her. Isabella, wait for me. Isabella floored it, weaving through traffic, running more than a dozen red lights to get back to the penthouse. When she saw the apartment was completely dark, her heart sank into a black hole. No matter how late she came home, the lights were always on. A figure would always be there, waiting to greet her. Ethan, she threw open the door, her voice echoing in the silent foyer. There was no answer. She remembered. This was always the moment he would appear, taking her purse, helping her off with her coat, kneeling to replace her heels with slippers, asking softly about her day. Tonight, there was only darkness. She thought I might be playing a cruel joke. She tried again, her voice trembling. Ethan, I've been drinking. I feel sick. She remembered. This was always the moment I would bring her a glass of soothing tea, carry her to bed, and gently massage her temples until she fell asleep. The silence that answered her was a terrifying beast, ready to swallow her whole. Struck by a sudden panic, she scrambled for the light switch. Click! As light flooded the apartment, the truth hit her. Everything was exactly as it had been before I moved in. Every single trace of me was gone. Her eyes fell on a nightstand in the master bedroom, on the picture frame with its shattered glass and a photo torn in half. She collapsed to the floor, the color draining from her face as hot tears streamed down her cheeks. Ethan, You're just mad at me, right? She whispered to the empty room. Right? You love me too much. You wouldn't just leave me. She repeated it like a mantra, a desperate hope rising in her chest. She began tearing the room apart, looking for any sign, any clue. Then she remembered the incinerator. She bolted from the penthouse and ran down to the service area. When she saw the pile of cold ash and, nestled within it, the charred lightning bolt-shaped tail of a familiar yellow creature, she fell to her knees. The sharp pain of the concrete barely registered as she clutched the pathetic remnant to her chest. No, Ethan, you love me. How could you leave? She knew. That Pikachu was my most treasured possession, and now it was gone. Still, a part of her refused to believe it. The man who loved her down to his very bones wouldn't just vanish without a word. She remembered something I'd said to her once, half joking. Isabella, if I ever find out you're playing me, I'll disappear from your life so completely you'll think I was never there. She'd laughed it off. I loved her too much. I would never leave. Her hands shaking, she pulled out her phone and dialed a number she hadn't once called herself in 3 years. The number you have dialed is currently busy. She tried again and again. Same result. She opened her text messages and scrolled and scrolled and scrolled, finally finding our conversation thread. It was a long, glaring list of one-way traffic. Left dinner for you on your desk. Eat it while it's hot so your stomach doesn't act up. Are you free tonight after work? They're saying we might see the northern lights. I know a spot by the water. What are you in a mood for today? How about a seafood feast? It's getting cold. I left a coat for you in your office closet. Don't forget to wear it. Your period started. No cold drinks. I made you a special ginger tea. It's in the thermos. I came up with a new dish today. It will be perfect for the company's anniversary party. I think it'll be a huge hit. It's my birthday today. Can you try to come home early? The list went on, all from me. Not a single reply from her. Isabella's eyes were red and raw, the tears unstoppable. Her body trembled as she stumbled back into the living room like a broken doll. She tried to send me a message, but it was immediately met with a string of red exclamation points. I had blocked her. Suddenly, a sharp, twisting pain shot through her stomach. It was so intense, it brought her to her knees. She curled into a ball on the floor, clutching her abdomen as a cold sweat beaded on her forehead. Ethan, she whimpered. It hurts. Through a haze of pain, she thought she saw a figure running toward her, a look of panic on his face. A weak, pained smile touched her lips. Ethan, I knew you couldn't leave me. Then her head lolled to the side as she passed out from the pain. Isabella. My flight landed a little after 9 p.m. As I walked into the arrivals hall, I saw a familiar figure waving wildly. Ethan, over here. A huge grin spread across my face. I dragged my suitcase over and pulled him into a massive bear hug. Cody, his name was Cody White, and he was my best friend. Ethan, man, when you called and said you were coming back, I didn't believe it. But you actually did it, you son of a gun. He punched me playfully in the chest, then slung an arm around my neck. So, you finally came to your senses? Decided to stop wasting your life chasing that one girl. I looked at him, raising an eyebrow. How did you know Isabella was going to be there? He was the one who had tipped me off, telling me where Isabella was that night. I had assumed she was celebrating a friend's birthday, so I'd spent a small fortune on a custom cake to surprise her. Some surprise. Cody just laughed. Dude, that restaurant is owned by a buddy of mine. You think I'd let Isabella sneak around behind my best friend's back with some other guy and not know about it? He squeezed my shoulder. I'm just glad you're done with her, man. There are so many amazing women out there. She wasn't worth it. Come on, he said, grabbing my suitcase. Let's hit the bars. We're celebrating your new lease on life. I shook my head, smiling. Another time, Cody. I gotta get home first. But call me tomorrow. We'll get together, get hammered, no holding back. He stroked his chin thoughtfully. Yeah, you're right. I'll drive you home. It's been a long time. Your parents must have missed you like crazy. Virum. The throaty roar of his Bugatti echoed through the streets as we sped through the city. I stared out at the passing lights, a strange sense of déjà vu washing over me. It felt like a lifetime ago. Here we are, man. Call me tomorrow, you hear? My best friend dropped me at the curb and peeled off into the night. I looked at the house I grew up in. It hadn't changed at all. 2 figures were standing on the porch, as if they'd been waiting for hours. My eyes welled up and my voice was choked. Dad, Mom, I'm home. Oh, honey, you're home. You're finally home. My mom rushed forward and took my suitcase. My dad just clapped me on the shoulder, his grip tight. He didn't say a word, but his trembling hand said everything. At the dinner table, my mom kept piling food onto my plate, a radiant smile on her face. Mom, I laughed. Are you trying to fatten me up like a prize pig? She rolled her eyes. Well, it took years to raise this prize pig, and then he just ran off with the first girl who offered him a wilted piece of lettuce. My dad just sat there, smiling quietly and sipping his whiskey. When he went to take a swig directly from the bottle, my mom snatched it out of his hand. You're lucky I'm letting you have 2 glasses tonight. Don't push it. He looked like a scolded puppy, but didn't dare argue, shooting a glare at me instead as I tried to hide my grin. After a moment of silence, I spoke up. Mom, I broke up with Isabella. It's over for good. To my surprise, my mom just beamed. Oh, so my son's finally had an epiphany. You're done being her little simp? A vein throbbed in my forehead. Mom, are you sure I'm your real son? Sometimes I think you found me in a basket by the river. My family came from humble beginnings, but my parents had built a small farming operation into a massive agricultural empire. Now, their business ventures spanned multiple industries. They weren't billionaires, but they were close enough. Life was comfortable. Their only real headache was me, their ungrateful son who, instead of going to business school to take over the company, decided to become a chef. Worse, after graduation, instead of marrying into the powerful white family as they'd hoped, I had run off to New York for Isabella. Honestly, I admire my parents. They were brilliant. My mom nodded seriously. Of course you're ours. You got your father's genes. If it wasn't for him being such a simp back in the day. Her words were cut off by my dad, erupting into a series of loud, chest-thumping coughs. He quickly changed the subject. So, son, since you're back, you can come to the office tomorrow. Get familiar with the business. Get ready to take over. My mom shot him a look and stuffed a chicken leg in his mouth. Can't you just eat? She turned back to me. Honey, don't listen to your father. You're home now. Take some time off. Travel, relax, do whatever makes you happy. She gestured to my dad. The company has him. He's still young. He can work another 10, 20 years. I grinned. That's my mom. But her next words made my smile freeze on my face. Son, since you're done simping for Isabella, I've already found you plenty of other options. You can take your pick. She handed me a thick stack of photographs. There must have been dozens of them. My eyes started to twitch. Mom, I'm not a stallion at stud. Besides, I'm not interested in dating right now. I was thinking of getting back to my roots, maybe open a small, private kitchen. My mom nodded. That's a great idea. You're a world-class chef, after all. But your career and your love life don't have to be mutually exclusive. I'll start making the calls. Starting tomorrow, you're going on dates. Your father can handle finding a location for the restaurant. We have plenty of prime, commercial properties. What? I watched, dumbfounded, as my mom walked away, already dialing on her phone. I thought we were talking about a vacation. A chance to unwind. How did that turn into a marathon of blind dates? At this rate, I'd rather go work at the company. The next morning, my mom dragged me out of bed, and so began my torturous journey of matchmaking. I had no choice. As long as it made her happy, I'd play along. It's just a date, I told myself. I don't have to actually like them. I can get out of this. 3. The implosion. Back in New York, Isabella didn't wake up until the afternoon of the next day. Isabella, you're awake. Lying in a hospital bed, the first face she saw wasn't mine but Julian's. A wave of disappointment washed over her. Where's Ethan? Didn't he come? She had expected me to be there. Every other time she'd been sick, I had been by her side, sometimes staying up all night just to watch over her. At the mention of my name, a flicker of malice crossed Julian's eyes, quickly replaced by a charming smile. Isabella, you're the best. I knew you still cared about me. The second I came back, you fired that Ethan guy for me. I heard he packed his bags and was gone last night. Now I'm the director of food quality. We could be together every day. Hearing this, Isabella's expression turned to ice. Who said I fired him? The HR department told me. They said you approved his resignation last night. I have to say, I'm impressed, Izzy. You work fast. Thank you. I'll work hard for the company, and I'll take good care of you. He reached for her hand, but she pulled it away. Her face was a mask of fury. She ripped the 4 from her arm, stood up, and stormed out of the room. Julian scrambled after her. Isabella, Isabella, what are you doing? You're not well. The doctor said you need a rest, but she was already gone. The second she walked into the corporate office, she saw it. My name had been scraped off the door of the director's office, replaced with a shiny new plaque, Julian Hayes. Her voice was dangerously low as she addressed a nearby employee. Who authorized this? As long as I haven't personally signed off on his resignation, Ethan Cole is the director of food quality. Change it back. Now, the employee stammered, terrified. MS. Vance, it was the new director, Mr. Hayes, who told us to change it. Click-clack, click-clack. Isabella didn't bother listening to the rest. She stormed into her office, where the head of HR was waiting to give a report. Who the hell gave you the authority to approve Ethan Cole's resignation? She screamed. You know that any manager-level departure has to be personally approved by me. The HR manager looked utterly bewildered. But Ms. Vance, I called you yesterday. You approved it yourself. Isabella froze. She remembered the call. She remembered hearing my name. But she had been in the middle of a toast with Julian, clinking champagne glasses. She had dismissed it, hanging up without a second thought. She rubbed her temples, a migraine pounding behind her eyes. She never thought I'd be so decisive. Just then, an executive burst into her office, looking frantic. Ms. Vance, it's a disaster. We've been inundated with negative reviews all afternoon. Social media is tearing us apart. The stock is plummeting. Isabella shot up from her chair. What the hell happened? This had never happened when I was in charge. It's the new director, Ms. Vance. Mr. Hayes threw out all of Mr. Cole's menus and supplier lists. He replaced everything with a new global fusion concept. He said it's the hottest trend in European fine dining. Isabella slammed her hand on the desk. Who gave him permission to do that? Change everything back now and get PR on this. I want this social media firestorm contained. Stabilize the stock, whatever it takes. The executive hesitated. Ms. Vance, maybe we should ask Mr. Cole to come back. A lot of the food bloggers and critics only came because of him. Are you telling me this company can't function without Ethan Cole? She roared. Then what do I pay the rest of you for? Get out and fix this. The two executives scurried out of her office, nearly colliding with a smug-looking Julian Hayes in the hallway. They shot him a look of pure disgust. The sight of him made Isabella's blood boil. Look at what you've done. I told you to take over Ethan's position, not to burn the company to the ground. This is a mess. Things were never like this when Ethan was here. At the sound of my name, Julian's temper flared. Ethan, don't tell me you actually fell for that guy, Isabella. What did you tell me before? That he was just my replacement? That you never even let him touch you? You told me your heart was always mine. Was that all a lie? He stepped closer. Isabella, you and I are the ones who belong together. All those years I was abroad, I never stopped thinking about you, about our future. I worked my ass off to get back to you. And what did you do? You found a stand-in for me. I could forgive that. But if I hadn't come back, were you actually planning on marrying him? Having his kids? Isabella was speechless for a moment. No, she said, her voice softer. It wasn't like that, Julian. I don't have any feelings for Ethan. You know I love you. I've been waiting all these years for you to come back. You just got here. You don't understand the market yet. You can't rush these things. Hearing this, Julian's tone softened as well. Izzy, I know you're thinking about our future. I am too. Maybe I was just too eager to make my mark. But you have to trust me. The old way of doing things is obsolete. We have to innovate, to evolve, if we want to reach the top. We can't just stick to the same old formula. Just give me a little more time. I'll show you. I will build you an empire. Isabella looked into his eyes and nodded. Okay, I trust you. That night, a car pulled up to the penthouse. A man and a woman got out. Julian looked at Isabella's beautiful face, his eyes full of hope. Izzy, why don't I stay with you tonight? It's late, Julian. You should get some rest. I have a meeting with a new supplier in the morning. I want you to come with me. Without another word, Isabella walked to the door, let herself in, and shut it with a definitive click, leaving him on the sidewalk. She didn't see the way his face twisted into an ugly, predatory snarl. Isabella Vance, he hissed to the empty street. I will have you, and I will have this company. Inside the penthouse, Isabella saw a table laden with food and the light on in the kitchen. Ethan, she breathed, a wave of relief washing over her. I knew you couldn't stay away from me. Her relief quickly soured into smugness. Oomph. I'm not going to forgive you that easily this time. She sat down at the table, picked up a fork, and took a bite. Instantly, her face contorted in disgust, and she spit the food into her napkin. It was all wrong. Just then, a woman in her 50s walked out of the kitchen, carrying another platter. Seeing Isabella, she smiled warmly. "Miss Vance, you're home. You must be hungry. Please, eat while it's hot." Isabella's voice was flat. "Maria, did you make this?" Maria nodded. "Mr. Ethan taught me how, but I can never get it to taste the way he does. Miss, I know it's not my place, but I heard what happened. Mr. Ethan, he's a good man. A very, very good man. The way he cooked for you, the way he took care of you. We all saw it. You will never find another man who treats you as well as he did. He knew you were too busy to visit your parents, so he would go visit them for you, just to keep them company. He was always so kind and respectful to all of us. He's a good man, miss. Sometimes, when you let someone like that go, you can never get them back." "That's enough, Maria," Isabella snapped, her face hardening. "I don't want to hear the name Ethan Cole in this house again. You can have this food. I've lost my appetite." With that, Isabella turned and went upstairs. Sigh. Maria's long, mournful sigh echoed through the empty penthouse. 4. The marriage license, Chloe White? What are you doing here? I stared in disbelief as the stunning woman sat down in the chair opposite me. I had to hand it to her. She was the nation's newest sweetheart, an A-list actress at the top of her game, and she deserved every bit of the hype. She wasn't just beautiful. She had an aura of effortless grace that was completely captivating. She was also my best friend Cody's older sister, his actual biological sister. Chloe smiled, a playful glint in her eyes. "Fancy meeting you here. You on a blind date, too?" "Too." I was surprised. An Oscar-winning actress had to go on blind dates? My family and the White family were neighbors, and Cody and I had been inseparable since we were kids. So, I'd known Chloe my whole life. Our parents used to joke about us getting married someday. After college, they tried to make it happen for real, a strategic merger of our two family empires. The deal was almost done, but I was so obsessed with Isabella that I'd packed up and fled to New York to escape them. And now here she was. "You're one of the most famous people in the country," I said. "Aren't you worried about the paparazzi seeing you here?" Chloe shrugged. "Let them. I don't really care." Her nonchalant attitude was not what I expected from a superstar. I leaned forward, curious. "I thought you were in love with someone. Why are you doing this?" "Who told you I was in love with someone?" "Your brother. He said you were heartbroken, that the guy you loved dumped you. He said that." Chloe's hands curled into fists, her knuckles white. "Yep." I nodded, feeling a pang of sympathy for my friend. He was definitely going to get an earful later. I remember it clearly. 3 years ago, back when I was still running my own small restaurant, Chloe had come in and sat in a corner booth, crying her eyes out. When I asked Cody what was wrong, that's what he told me. I even remember trying to comfort her, though I couldn't recall a single word I'd said. "Hey, Ethan," she said, snapping me out of my memory. "I hear you got dumped too." "Who told you that?" "My brother." My own fist clenched. I suddenly had a very strong urge to punch someone. Chloe sighed dramatically. "Well, since you're single and I'm single, why don't we just help each other out?" She saw the look on my face and quickly added, "Don't get the wrong idea. I'm just trying to get my parents off my back. I assume you're in the same boat." I nodded, a wave of exhaustion washing over me. The last 2 days of my mom's relentless matchmaking had been a special kind of hell. This was my out. So, in a moment of sheer desperation, I heard myself say, "Okay." Chloe immediately stood up. "Great. Let's go." "Go where?" I asked, confused. "City Hall." "What?" I was frozen in my seat. I thought we were talking about pretending to be a couple. How we jumped straight to getting married. Seeing my stunned expression, Chloe rolled her eyes. "If we don't get a marriage license, our parents will know we're faking it. They're too smart for that. But we are faking it. Are you an idiot? If we get married, they can't force us to go on any more blind dates. The next time they try, we just flash the marriage certificate. Game over." I had to admit, it was brilliant. Still, something fell off. "Come on, let's go. City Hall closes soon. I can't take another one of these dates." Before I could protest, she had grabbed my arm, pulled me out of the coffee shop, and pushed me into her car. Walking out of the county clerk's office, I stared at the crisp, new marriage license in my hand, feeling completely dazed. I just got married? By accident? Beside me, Chloe was beaming, a smile so radiant it could power a small city. She snatched the license from my hand, held it up next to hers, and snapped a photo. "I'll text you the picture," she said cheerfully. "Ah, this is great. No more blind dates. Freedom." She winked at me. "Hey, when the time comes, if you meet someone you actually like, just let me know. We'll get a divorce, no big deal. Anyway, I gotta run. See you tomorrow." Watching her disappear down the street, it finally registered. "Hey," I yelled after her. "My marriage license." But her car was already gone. "Whatever," I muttered to myself. "It's just a piece of paper." Just then my phone buzzed. It was a text from Chloe. The picture of our marriage licenses. A moment later, I saw she'd updated her Instagram. A new post. 3 words, just married. The picture, our marriage licenses. The comments section exploded immediately. "OMG, Chloe White got married. Since when? No, my queen. Who is this lucky bastard? Ethan Cole. Why does that name sound familiar? He's pretty handsome, I guess." I went back to my text, saved the photo, and without a second thought, posted it to my own social media. Instantly, my phone rang. It was my mom. "Honey, what is going on? What girl in her right mind would actually marry you? And you already got the license? Is this real? Are you pulling my leg?" I roll my eyes. "Yep, definitely my mother. It's real, Mom. I wouldn't joke about something like this. Don't worry, I'll bring your new daughter-in-law home to meet you soon." The second I hung up, my phone rang again. It was Cody. I hesitated. He thought of me as a brother, and I just married his sister. This felt complicated, even if it was fake. I answered the call. As expected, Cody's furious voice erupted from the speaker. "Ethan Cole, you son of a bitch. I treat you like a brother, and you go and become my brother-in-law." Seriously, man, when did this happen with my sister? How'd I not know about this? So, what? Am I supposed to call you bro now? This is weird. I'm sending you an address. Get your ass over here right now. You owe me a serious drinking session to apologize for this, or I swear I'm going to kick your ass. I hung up, laughing, and called an Uber to the bar. 5. The fallout in New York. Isabella was getting ready for bed when her phone rang. It was her best friend. "Izzy, you need to look at the picture I just sent you. Ethan got married. He posted it online." "What?" Isabella's pupils contracted. Her hand trembled as she opened her messages. When she saw the photo of the 2 marriage licenses, the phone nearly slipped from her grasp. "No, it's impossible. Ethan loves me. He would never marry another woman." "No, I don't believe it," she whispered. "He's just trying to make me angry." Her friend's voice came through the phone. "Izzy, don't lose your head. This is obviously just a ploy to get your attention. A tactic. Look at the woman in the picture. That's Chloe White, the actress. Someone like her would never be interested in a guy like Ethan." Isabella's mind cleared. She nodded frantically. "Right, it's just a game. He's trying to make me come crawling back to him. Well, he could dream on. There's no way he'd marry someone else. The picture has to be photoshopped." She repeated the words to herself, and a fragile sense of calm returned. But just as she hung up, her phone rang again. It was her assistant, and her voice was filled with panic. "It's Bam, Ms. Vance. We've poured all our liquid assets into the market, but we can't stop the bleeding. The stock is about to collapse. The company, it's over." Thump. Isabella sank to the floor, her eyes vacant, her hands shaking uncontrollably. Before she could even process the news, her phone rang yet again. She numbly answered it. An enraged voice boomed from the other end. "You foolish girl. Get your ass back to my house. Now." Isabella drove to the Vance family estate in a daze. The moment she stepped inside, her father's roar echoed through the grand foyer. "On your knees." Her father, Arthur Vance, the patriarch of the Vance family and chairman of the board, sat in a large armchair, his face a mask of cold fury. Isabella's legs gave out, and she crumpled to the floor. "You idiot girl. Look at the mess you've made. I found you the perfect husband in Ethan, a man who could build an empire, and you threw him away. You drove him out of the company. And for what? For some slick, second-rate pretender you brought back from Europe. Now not only is your little startup bankrupt, but you're dragging the entire Vance Corporation down with you. Look at this. Look at the kind of man you chose." Arthur threw a stack of glossy photographs at her feet. They scattered across the marble floor. When Isabella saw the images, her breath caught in her throat. It was impossible. How could it? The photos were of Julian with other women in compromising positions, engaging in debauched activities. Each photo was time-stamped, dating back years, including the entire time he was supposedly pining for her in Europe. Isabella collapsed completely, the last of her strength gone. Tears of humiliation streamed down her face. "Oomph. You regret it now, don't you?" Arthur sneered. "Regret is useless. You made your choice. From this moment on, you are removed as CEO of your company. You will stay here and reflect on your monumental failure." Arthur left, leaving Isabella alone on the cold floor, drowning in her shame. After a long time, she stirred. A frantic thought seized her. She fumbled in her purse and pulled out the charred, lightning bolt-shaped tail. "No, I still have Ethan. Ethan loves me. If I go to him, if I apologize, he'll take me back. He has to." "Yes," she whispered, her eyes wild. "I have to find Ethan." Scrambling to her feet, Isabella stumbled out of the mansion. She bought the first flight to Denver. She had always known where I was from. She had just been waiting for me to come crawling back to her. She was wrong. I was never going back. That evening, as a cold, steady rain began to fall, Isabella appeared at the gates of my family's home and dropped to her knees on the wet asphalt. "Mr. and Mrs. Cole, I'm so sorry. Please let me in. I need to see Ethan," she cried out, her voice breaking. "Ethan, I know I was wrong. Please come back with me. I'll never hurt you again, I promise. I'll be good to you. Please, Ethan, I'm begging you." My father opened the front door and walked out with an umbrella. He stood over her, his expression grim. "You should have thought of that before. Go home. My son is a married man now. He's not going to see you, and he's certainly not going back with you." Isabella's cries turned to hysterical sobs. "No, Dad, please. I'm not leaving until I see him. You have to let me see him. I can't live without him." "Don't you dare call me that," my father said, his voice like ice. "You lost that right. Do whatever you want. Kneel all night for all I care." With that, my father turned and went back inside, leaving Isabella to shiver alone in the wind and the rain. The next morning, I woke up with a splitting headache. When I sat up, a cool draft hit my skin. The duvet slid off, and I realized I was completely naked. I turned my head, and my eyes widened in shock. Chloe White? What was she doing in my bed? Did we? I clutched my head, trying to piece together the blurry fragments of the previous night. I remembered drinking with Cody, getting completely wasted. Then Chloe had burst into our private room and had someone carry me out. After that, I remembered being thrown onto a soft bed. I was burning up, desperate for something cool. I'd fumbled in the dark until I found it, a blessed relief. And now my best friend's sister was lying next to me, and neither of us was wearing any clothes. I didn't need a detective to figure out what happened. My God, how could this have happened? Wait, it's not a big deal, right? We have a marriage license. We're legally married. It might be a fake marriage, but the license was real. As I tried to stealthily slip out of bed, a slender arm wrapped around my waist. "Shoo," Chloe murmured, her voice husky with sleep. "Go back to sleep." My whole body tensed. You're awake. Last night we..." Chloe let out a soft laugh. "You big goof. We're husband and wife. Isn't this kind of normal?" "Normal? Is this normal?" I had no idea. "All right, stop overthinking it," she said, her voice teasing. "The deed is done. You're not going to try and skip out on your responsibilities, are you?" "No, it's just, don't you have someone you love? This doesn't feel right." Chloe's smile was breathtaking. "You really are clueless, aren't you? Do you know the name of the man I love?" I shook my head. "No. What a coincidence. His name is Ethan Cole, too." It took a second for her words to register. I stared at her, then pointed a trembling finger at myself. You love me?" Chloe nodded. "Yes. Everyone in the world knew I was in love with you, except you idiot. You were too busy chasing after that Isabella woman. I thought I should give up, let you be happy. But I couldn't stop watching you, hoping you would see. Do you know why Isabella always seemed to disappear at the most crucial moments? She wasn't busy. She was flying to Europe to be with her lover." Her expression hardened. "I couldn't stand it. I gave you up to her, and that's how she treated you? It was infuriating. But you were so devoted to her, there was nothing I could do. So I took matters into my own hands to help you escape that toxic mess. And for my own happiness, I arranged for Julian Hayes to come back. I put him right in her path." She smirked. I knew she'd want to have her cake and eat it too. I just had to wait for her to screw up. A light bulb went on in my head. So, getting Cody to tell me about the restaurant. That was you, of course. And thank God you finally came to your senses. And the blind date. That was all part of the plan. Chloe nodded again. Yep, your parents have always been very fond of me. So you tricked me into marrying you? All of you, you conspired against me. Hey, what do you mean conspired? Am I so bad? I'm 1,000 times better than Isabella Vance. Unlike her, I'll only ever be your number one stan. A wave of dizziness washed over me. I thought it was all a coincidence. But my parents, my best friend, they had all worked together to lure me into this trap. So, that time you were crying in my restaurant, that was because of me. Well, duh. Did you really think I was heartbroken over some other guy? Unrequited love is still a broken heart, you know? She grew serious. Do you have any idea how happy I was when I heard you were coming home? I was at the airport that day, but you were so busy having a reunion with my brother, you never even looked around. If you had, you would have seen me. You have no idea, you heartless man. The only reason I worked so hard to become a famous actress was so I could stand on the biggest stage in the world, so that no matter where you were, you might see me. She snuggled closer, her voice turning soft and playful. But it all worked out. Now you're all mine. I looked at her, my mind reeling. All this time, while I was chasing my dream girl, I was someone else's dream boy. I gently wrapped my arms around her. I might not love you yet, I said softly, but I'm going to try. I'm going to work at it every day, just like you chased after me. This time, it's my turn to chase you. For the rest of my life, I'm yours. She looked up at me, her eyes shining. For the rest of my life, I'm yours. Isabella never saw me again. Chloe and I moved into a house by the mountains. She retired from acting, content to be my partner and my taste tester. I only became a star for you, she told me. Now that I have you, I don't need the spotlight. And me? I loved her. I poured all my energy into our small restaurant, into our life together, and into making her the happiest woman in the world. Isabella collapsed in the rain and was taken back to New York. The next day, her body still weak, she walked down into a dark, damp basement. The sound of the heavy door opening was met with a series of terrified, muffled whimpers. Click! The bare bulb flickered on, illuminating a man tied to a chair, his mouth stuffed with a dirty rag. His eyes were wide with terror. It was Julian Hayes. Isabella picked up a small, sharp knife from a nearby table. Without a word, she plunged it into his leg. MMPH. His eyes bulged, his body convulsing in agony. It's your fault, she hissed, her voice a low, guttural snarl. It's your fault my Ethan doesn't want me anymore. Stab. Why couldn't you just stay in Europe? Why did you have to come back? Stab. He doesn't want me anymore. He married someone else. He's really gone. Stab. You deserve to die. MMPH. MMPH. She stabbed him again and again, the rhythmic violence the only thing that could soothe the screaming in her head. Soon, Julian was soaked in his own blood, barely conscious. Isabella pulled the rag from his mouth. A trickle of blood oozed from the corner of his lips. He coughed, and then, to her astonishment, he began to laugh, a wild, gurgling sound. Huh, Isabella, you're the pathetic one here, he rasped. You've been lying to yourself this whole time. You love my recklessness, my ambition, but you also loved Ethan's devotion, his stability. The moment you decide you want two different people is the moment you lose everything. You can't have it all. No one can. He coughed again, blood spattering his chest. The truth is, you don't love anyone but yourself. Ethan and I, we were just pawns in your game. He just got lucky. Someone was there to pull him out. And me, huh? Isabella's eyes were bloodshot, her mind completely fractured. No, that's not true. I love Ethan. I've always loved him. It was you. You ruined everything. Shunk. This time, the blade found its mark, sinking deep into Julian's heart, silencing him for good. It's not true, she whispered to the corpse. I love Ethan. She stumbled out of the basement, laughing and crying. When the police found her, she was completely, irrevocably insane.